You're listening to Thursday Night AMP on the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Now, I can bitch about some Christmas music.
Yeah, you can bitch about some Christmas music. That would be great.
Oh, God, I went to Walmart this afternoon, stepped into the little neighborhood market at lunch to pick something up. They have Valentine's candy out already.
No way.
Oh, my.
You know, I swear Walmart's just doing it to intentionally. Walmart is just intentionally fucking with people now.
I even took a picture since people would not believe me. There, that is my Walmart. I just sent it to the group chat. That is my Walmart.
Oh, my goodness.
Aisles of, yeah.
What the fuck? That's ridiculous.
It's not even New Year's.
And I was
It's not even
it's still
Christmas.
2016. We're not even in 2017 yet.
There's something seriously wrong with your Walmart. That's all I can say.
It's a Southern, it's got to be a Southern thing. I don't know. I just turned the corner to go pick up some dog food, and it's like, really? Because 2 days ago, it was like, there was Christmas candy here.
That was what offended me, actually, was when they started putting out the Christmas candy before Halloween was over. Like, we haven't even fucking gotten through Thanksgiving yet, assholes.
Mm-hmm. It's like, let each holiday mascot have its day.
Mm-hmm.
Let the fat guy have its day before you move on to the guy with the bow and arrow and a diaper.
Mm-hmm. And let that guy have his day before you move on to the bunny with the basket full of eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, we'll just have 1 year-long holiday where we go shop for everything.
Oh, God, no.
It's gonna
Because
happen.
people in this town would never stay home.
Wouldn't that be a good thing? Then you'd be quiet. It'd be like, hey, everybody's gone shopping. I'm home by myself. This is great. The whole neighborhood's quiet.
Yeah, but if you have to get out and go anywhere, it's insane.
Well, yeah, there is that. But then
Getting
you
out of
never
a
go
parking
anywhere. You
lot.
just have everything delivered and never leave.
Man, I live in South Georgia. The only place that delivers here is pizza.
What, you can't even get Chinese takeout delivered?
Well, I can because I know the guy that owns the Chinese place here in town.
Ah, okay.
But yeah, that's it. It's pizza. No restaurants deliver. You can't order, have anything. I mean, I'm doing good to have UPS deliver to my house.
Shoot, even Amazon doesn't deliver there.
It takes some doing.
Funny thing is, Amazon delivers so much here, they actually have trucks on Sunday just to deliver Amazon.
Wow.
I don't know, but that's like I order from Kevin from Puro Central Shop, and I swear every other order I make from him goes to some podunk little town 500 miles from here and sits there for 3 days and then finally comes to me.
Mm.
And it's just the stuff he sends. I think he does it on purpose.
The only time that's happened to me in the last year was when I ordered my NES Classic, and when it shipped out, it started in like Phoenix, Arizona or Denver, Colorado, somewhere out west, and then it sat in Kansas for 3 days, and then it got here, and then it sat in Omaha for another day before it was delivered to me. And I'm tracking this all on UPS like, what is the fucking holdup? Get the damn thing to me.
We would just like somewhere to actually have them. So some of the rest of us can buy them.
You know what? Don't get me started on shipping. I am still pissed off. In the middle of November, I ordered a chair from Amazon. I've got Prime. And for some reason, Amazon sent it by postal service, and they lost it somewhere between Cincinnati and here. They still don't know where it is.
Well, did they at least refund it to you?
Yeah, eventually. But I want my damn chair now. I think I should get that chair free.
Well,
you should have asked them to replace it.
Well, I mean, I had that option too, but at the time I was just gonna be like, fuck it, I'm just gonna take the money and I'm just gonna buy it. I mean, I got my replacement chair. The same exact one, as a matter of fact. But, Amazon eventually did give me that option after 2 fucking weeks. Because they kept getting updates from the post office. Well, it's moving. It's being delivered. Well, no, it's not, motherfucker. It does not take 2 fucking weeks to deliver mail from Cincinnati to Mount Sterling, Kentucky. Christ, I could have walked that twice.
It's
So
Thursday
we just
night.
bitching and complaining.
Right, it's Thursday night AMP, bitching and complaining. I'm Stevie J, and that's Killicam that you just heard talking about his office chair that never came.
Does that make this officially the airing of the grievances?
I suppose it is. Although I've been told that's a really obnoxious holiday nobody should actually celebrate.
What?
Yeah, somebody got upset at me when I mentioned Festivus in a thread. I was like, if you don't celebrate Christmas, have a happy Festivus, and I got yelled at.
No, people have no sense of humor anymore.
I think not. But that's Abby, everybody, so welcome Abby to the show.
Hello, hello, ho, 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 Merry damn Christmas.
And of course, Jason, aka the Great Sudoku.
Yeah, somewhere between here and the Twilight Zone, my Best of Bone Soldier box set got lost.
You know, that should not even exist, so the fact that it got lost is a good thing.
That's why it's between here and the Twilight Zone, because it only exists there.
Yeah. You and I came up with a whole mirror universe the other day in our chat where Bone Soldier was a world champion and Quantum Leap was still on the air, so Enterprise never got made, and we came up with like 20 different things.
It was great, yeah.
That's a universe I don't want to live in.
Well, you would like that universe because I believe Tata was a jobber.
And bald.
Hey,
Yeah.
if he's bald, I'm there.
He was a bald jobber. Of course, the flip side of that was Taichi. What was the...
Yeah, Taichi and Bone Soldier were headlining not G1, they were headlining the January 4th Wrestle Kingdom show for the IWGP Heavyweight title in this alternate universe.
Oh, no, I'm not in that universe anymore.
Well, speaking of New Japan, I know you kind of poo-pooed this and shot it down last week, Abby, but this whole rumor that they're doing G1 shows in California next year, it keeps picking up momentum. It doesn't go away.
Yeah, but the thing is, people are saying this. New Japan has said nothing about even doing a tour.
Well,
They said they're thinking about it.
Apparently, Tiger Hattori and Rocky Romero went to Southern California on an excursion to scout out locations.
That's fine, great, and good, but until New Japan announces it, right now it's just a rumor. And I can't see them doing it during the G1 if they do it.
Except, how else would you draw a huge crowd of people coming from all over the country to California? That's how you would do it, by announcing that it's G1 Climax.
Yeah, but if you look at the wrestling world and fans in America, how many people really pay attention to the G1 Climax?
Well, I guess that number would be however many people in this country subscribe to New Japan World.
And that's not that many.
What, maybe 5,000-10,000?
Yeah.
That would be enough to put on a show in California. If you could get 10% of those people to come, I'd be one of them.
But that wouldn't be a G1 size crowd, though.
No.
That's the problem. Therein lies the problem.
Yeah, I mean, I could see them doing a tour in Southern California or in LA, do a couple of dates in LA. I can't see them doing it for the G1.
That is a fair point. They do have much bigger crowds for most G1 shows than 1,000 people, so I can't really make the compelling case. But if you put it in a venue of the right size to make those 1,000 people look like 10,000, that would be something.
Yeah, but it's the problem is with them in New Japan World, they don't have enough subscriptions here to really make it worthwhile for them to come on their own for a big show.
Mm-hmm. And they don't seem to want to do joint shows with Ring of Honor anymore. But then again, that would be sort of the same problem, because I went to some of those kind of shows when they did partnerships with Japanese promotions, and that was like 1,000 people. That was the kind of crowd I'm talking about.
Yeah, because until New Japan really makes an effort to market themselves towards the mainstream wrestling fans, and that means subtitles and making a New Japan site in English and New Japan World in English and having everything be subtitled in English commentary, people aren't going to get into it because, unlike us, these people really want English commentary for some reason.
Well, I could be wrong, but I thought they just launched a brand new English language website.
I'm talking for New Japan World.
Oh, okay.
Because
yeah.
Everybody that ever tries to, that was something that I had to point out today on Twitter when somebody wrote a piece on the streaming services. Well, the cons for New Japan was there's no English commentary, there's no English subtitles, there's no English website, and it's like, what, you can use Google Translate. Oh, that's just too hard. No, it's not.
No, Chrome makes it so easy that I can't imagine anybody using that excuse, unless they're just fucking not willing to add one additional browser to their computer. That's all it takes.
Yeah, and there's no app. There's no Fire TV app. There's no Apple TV app. There's no Roku app.
But it does.
Like, well, there's an app that works with Chromecast that you can get, and that's just too difficult. It's the best wrestling company in the world, cheaper than most other streaming services. Oh, well, but their library isn't, filled out. They don't own the rights to half of their archive, so it can't be filled out.
Right, they had to take down all those New Japan, All Japan shows because they didn't have the rights to the All Japan license. They couldn't put those on their network.
And plus a lot of their back library is owned by either Samurai or Asahi.
Go ahead, Kevin. Did you have something to add?
As I say, I think that's really part of the problem, though. I mean, yes, it's the best wrestling in the world right now, but it's not very consumer accessible. There's just too many hicks in the system that people in America have to do in order to be able to enjoy it. I'll be honest, Americans are used to being catered to, until you get to a level, like Abby mentioned, where you got an English language website, your back catalog is filled out, and it's properly subtitled.
And it's searchable in English, which it's not right now.
Yeah, and your video either has to have subtitles or it has to have alternative English commentary. There has to be a full-time English commentary team that's actually not only invested in that show, but it has to be comparable to the Japanese commentary. We can't just keep going with Kevin Kelly and whoever else they managed to throw together at the last second to try to pull off a really good, strong, credible product, because, these guys that they're just bringing in every once in a while for a show really are not up to the intricacies of the storyline like, say, WWE or even TNA. If we could just get a TNA level of production for an English language audience, that would significantly boost New Japan World.
Yeah, what's Mike Tenay and Don West doing these days?
Indeed.
They have New Japan. They have New Japan on Access, but that's old stuff.
Yeah, and it's Jim Ross. Yeah,
and Josh Barnett.
Yeah, but
Shinsuke Nakamura.
I really don't think Jim Ross is any more invested and caught up on even the storylines he's covering any more than Kevin Kelly and Yoshitatsu are.
I would at least believe in Jim Ross enough to do his homework on the matches. That much I give him more than anybody else.
Yeah, but it goes back to Americans want to be catered to, and this instant gratification and give me this, give me that. And New Japan is gonna, if they want to really cater to the American market on their own, then they're gonna have to take the steps to do all these things.
Even if people were being catered to, they would still bitch. If New Japan had a Roku channel, people would complain about having to get a Roku.
Yeah, or anything like that. And it's just, New Japan, I do not honestly think they will run shows, especially during a big tournament here. They might do a couple of test dates here and there to see how it goes. But, if you really look at it, people in this country are not all that invested in New Japan.
Well, all I ask is if they're going to do test shows and they're not going to do anything that's part of a tournament, don't bring the B squad. Bring your top stars. Bring Okada. I know you hate Tana, but bring Tana. Bring the top guys. Bring Katsuyori Shibata.
Bring Naito.
Kenny Omega, Naito, Will Ospreay. Bring all those guys. You can't send out the job squad of the Bullet Club and expect people to show up for that.
I don't even know if Kenny Omega can wrestle in the States right now.
What, is he barred from entry for some reason?
No, he's always having these visa problems. That's why he wasn't on the Ring of Honor shows and the like, because visa problems.
Well, there is one wrestler.
And not Matt Sydal type visa problems, eh?
No, just real visa problems.
Right. I think the name of the guy I'm thinking of is Speedball Mike Bailey, but there's one guy from Canada that can't get into the United States.
That's him.
Yeah. And I've heard that a lot of other promotions would be using him on a regular basis if he could.
I don't understand and it's the promoter's fault as much as it is the wrestler's deal. If they can't get all this crap cleared up, they've got to put in the effort too.
Well, let's, I don't know how to segue from that into our best of 2016, but that's my segue. We were going to talk about the best of 2016 this week.
Or we could just bitch, moan, and complain.
I've got a bunch of good matches to run down if you're game for that.
Yeah, instead of things that we don't like, we can talk about things we do like.
Talk about things that we do like, and yeah, I've made a list of 10 of my favorite matches, and they're not in any ranked order, they're just in chronological order, so And I think that's as good a place as any to start. And the first one happened January 4th of 2016, and it was one very early in the year that we were talking about that was a very early candidate for Match of the Year. Of course, I'm talking about Shinsuke Nakamura versus AJ Styles from Wrestle Kingdom 10, and this was the second to last match on the card. Okada and Tana got top billing, but this was the match. This was the match that stole the show, and this was just so symbolic when Shinsuke ate the metaphorical bullet that AJ fired at him with that pantomime. And, you know, maybe there's some sentimental value that has kept this on my list, but I enjoyed the hell out of this match. It's what you would expect from these two guys, and, you know, with it being their, not, I guess, kind of their, you could call it their swan song in New Japan. They stuck around for a few more shows for the New Year's Dash, and I think Shinsuke was around until, like, after Fantastica Mania, but this really was their swan song in New Japan, and it was a good note to go out on.
And we all knew that AJ was going to WWE. They were trying to keep it secret and make it a surprise for the Royal Rumble. But this is wrestling. We all find this shit out well ahead of time. We knew he was leaving New Japan, and we knew that he was going to have to do some spectacular stuff right there at the end to showcase himself before jumping over to WWE.
What we didn't know was that Shinsuke was following him.
Yeah, that part was a surprise. That genuinely was a surprise.
I think that came out like later the same day or like the next day. What was the story with that, Abby? Do you remember?
I think it might have come out right before Wrestle Kingdom. Or if it didn't come, it came out maybe that weekend that he was leaving. Mm-hmm. But it wouldn't be for a little while. We didn't really know when he was leaving.
It's like I remember, you know, I was saying, we finally understand the finish to that match now, you know, now that we know that AJ's leaving, and then it was like, Shinsuke's leaving too. Whew.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember
his last show was the end of February.
Right. But I do remember we just had a brief period of freaking out about that. Like, what is New Japan going to be without two of their top stars? And as it turned out, everything was just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily, Katsuyori Shibata took a page from these two's playbooks and continued to carry that banner of what it is to have a match that Abby likes to refer to as beautiful murder. And this match was beautiful murder. And thankfully, Katsuyori Shibata has carried that flag of beautiful murder through 2016.
I don't know why, but this just popped something into my head that I had never mentioned about Total Nonstop Deletion. One of my mark-out moments was seeing Hornswoggle with the Shinsuke Nakamura parody t-shirt that said King of Small Style.
Why does everybody have that? I mean, everybody has those shirts.
Okay, maybe everybody does, but in his case, I really thought it was funny. I thought it worked for him.
Joey Ryan has one. His is just gross, though.
What does it say, King of Porn Style?
No, King of Dong Style.
Of course. Well, anyway, back to the top 10 list. Jason, all right. What's your next entry?
My next one did take place in February. This one took place in Big Japan. It's my only Big Japan match on the list. This was one big mindfuck. This was the Poseidon Adventure splash match, and I remember watching this while on Skype with Abby and just mouth agape. Where do I even begin with this one? We have a ring announcer with a Terry Taylor Red Rooster hairdo to begin the match. We have tennis rackets. We have blow-up dolls. We have garbage cans full of water. We have super soakers. We have a guy in a Speedo with swimming cap and a pink boa. We have choreographed dancing, water balloons, Abdullah Kobayashi wearing a red wig, the entire crowd wearing clear ponchos. Hell, we had an inflatable giraffe. We had rubber duckies that were dumped out like thumbtacks and then hit with a tennis racket into the crowd. We had an upside-down bicycle tire that was spun like a grindstone and used like a weapon on somebody's face. We had a bowling ball that was bowled into a suitcase that was between the legs of a seated opponent to crotch them. We had people using the ring like a slip and slide. We had two guys legit drink ink. Like I talk about Bushi misting the black octopus ink. We had two guys legit drink from a bottle of ink and then mist it onto the thong-clad ass of their partner and then ram Abdullah Kobayashi's head into that ink-covered ass. And then ink-face Kobayashi gets two plungers put on his head like antennae, a tiara, a pink cape, and a gun that fires bubbles and turns into a superhero and ends up winning the match.
all I can say after that excellent summary of it is this cannot be on my top 10, but this can be on top 10 most entertaining things. But as far as like actual match quality, I'd have to be honest and give it a 0, but I was greatly entertained by watching it.
If I had a worst match list, this would also make my worst match list. It makes my best match list. It goes from 11:59 to 12:01. It hits both territories. It hits the worst, it hits the best, but it is by far the most bizarre and one of the most entertaining matches that I have seen in 2016, and I'd be remiss not to mention it.
Fair enough. Abby, anything to add about that one?
That was just a strange ass match. I mean, I mean, I sat there and I was watching it, Jason and I we're chatting and watching it at the same time. I was like, this is actually a thing. And then they had like 2 or 3 more of them this year.
Yeah, there was one in June and I forget when the other one was. So there's more than one, but the original to me is still the best. The one from February where Abby and I was like, wait, is that a giraffe? Is that a goat? Giraffes have long necks. That doesn't have a long neck, but it's got the little giraffe antennae.
I'm trying to remember if I saw the one in February or the one in June, because I know you sent me one that I watched, and it was equally as bizarre as the one you were describing, so it could have been either one.
But yeah, if anybody wants a link to the February one, you can get at me on Twitter at Great Sudoku, and I will throw you a link to that match.
All right, what's next on your list?
Next one, and some people may have other matches from this same card on their list. This is one that Stevie J was at live, NXT TakeOver Dallas, April Fool's Day. Asuka versus Bayley, where Asuka wins the NXT Women's title. And I really like this match because in losing, Bayley looked like a champion and looked strong. She had a knee bar of her own that she locked onto Asuka, and it wasn't a complete beatdown. It wasn't a complete Asuka beatdown like Asuka beatdowns usually are. And I really liked Bayley passing out and not tapping out. And if we're going to go back and look at Roadblock End of the Line, if we had Sasha Banks, say she passes out from pain and goes limp from that figure 8 with 2 seconds left, I could buy that a lot more than her tapping with 2 seconds left. And this is the only women's match that I have on my top 10 list, and for a good reason. This just stood out head and shoulders above every other women's match this year.
There's only one thing I would add that you left out, and this may have meant more to the crowd there than it would to anybody watching at home, but everybody was looking for the Bayley superfan to see what her reaction was to her hero losing. And when Bayley passed out, it was like, oh my God, that little girl is gonna cry or die.
Did she cry? Did Izzy cry?
I think she
cried,
did.
and then they had to remove her from the area.
Oh, right. I could get a picture of that and blow that up huge and put it like a fathead on my wall. That would be awesome.
Oh, there were pictures of it all over Twitter.
Crying Bayley fatheads. Why didn't they start selling those for Christmas? Or not Bayley, Izzy. Crying Izzy fatheads.
Yeah, we don't want Bayley to cry. No. But Izzy, I think people wanted to see that. Next match?
Next match I had came from Extreme Rules, the only main card WWE match. This came from May 22nd. This is the Fatal 4-Way between Miz, Cesaro, Sami Zayn, and Kevin Owens. And yes, a match with The Miz made my top 10 list, but the main reason for this is big ups to Cesaro, big ups to Sami Zayn for carrying a large portion of this match with chain wrestling with some high spots. This fell largely on the shoulders of Cesaro and Zayn, and it worked well. Miz didn't have to do a lot, and thankfully he didn't. As the chicken shit heel character that he is, he was able to retain his title without doing much. And yeah, people telling me I should be a fan of Cesaro and Zayn, this match proves them right.
I'm going to have to watch that one again because apparently I don't have as fond of memories of it as you do. Maybe because of the fact that The Miz retained.
I was mad about the finish, but the match itself was great. It's like I didn't like the finish, but for some reason that didn't detract enough from the match for me to say, nah, I'm not going to put this on my list. This one I like. This one, even with The Miz going over, just with what mostly it was Cesaro and Zayn, what they did in the ring, just really elevated the match in my mind and had it stick out for me.
let me take this old school indie style. If you had this exact same match, but you had Claudio Castagnoli, El Generico, and Kevin Steen, and no fucking Mike Mizanin, then this would be a match of the year.
Oh, that might be a match of the decade candidate there.
Right. So,
do you remember this one at all, Abby?
No.
Okay.
I pretty much wiped most of the main roster year for WWE with the exception of a couple of things out of my head.
Yeah, that's the only main roster one that I put on there. There's another NXT match coming up later, but that's the only WWE proper match that I put on there.
All right, let's keep going down the list. What do you got next, Jason?
Coming up next, we have another one from the month of May, and less than a week later, May the 27th, the match that Gravity forgot, but that Big Van Vader did not. Ricochet versus Will Ospreay for Best of the Super Juniors. And how could I not have this match on my list? This is the match that got a Japanese crowd to chant in English, "This is awesome." And this is a time when Ospreay was still doing his Cheerio motherfucker forearms. I like the flippy dippy shit. I don't mind the choreographed synchronized flips they did off the rope. I thought that was pretty cool. I think Ricochet kicking out of the Rainmaker was pretty cool too. I also think this was the debut of Ospreay using that springboard cutter finish in New Japan. But this match, as soon as I saw it, I knew it was a match of the year candidate, even before all the Vader shit started. I loved this match when I saw it. I went back and watched it today. It holds up just as well.
The thing I like about this match in hindsight is that the controversy of Vader bitching about it led to a bad match between him and Will Ospreay for sure, but it also helped put Will Ospreay's name on a larger map to a wider audience of people. So Vader, even though he's kind of been a piece of shit in general this year, he did actually do Will Ospreay a favor by bitching so much.
And as a precursor to that, New Japan also released this match for free on their YouTube channel.
Yes.
So it got a lot of exposure.
Yeah. It really put Will out there in a good way.
And I know Abby's got some thoughts on this. She watched Best of the Super Juniors.
No, man, I liked the match. I had no problem with it at all. I didn't really see what all the hubbub was about from Vader. He just, felt the need, I guess, to, trash people who were doing things that he couldn't do anymore. And then worked himself into a match where he looked like shit against somebody else. So.
Mm-hmm. And then works himself into a lather with Chael Sonnen, which is like, oh my god, here we go again.
Oh yeah, now he's threatening to kick his ass too.
Apparently he's going to break his own rule about not picking on little people.
Oh my god. He can barely fucking walk. Why didn't he just stay in bed and keep sending out dick pics on Twitter?
Besides which, he clearly hasn't gotten a look at Chael Sonnen lately because that guy is pretty jacked right now.
Not exactly what I would call little.
No.
Vader just needs to fade away into the sunset and quit making a fool out of himself.
Well, hopefully he doesn't literally do that because I know he had that health scare a little while ago, but apparently another doctor came back and said he may have more than a few years to live after all.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the list, Jason.
Back to the list. You're on the list. Next on the list there. Chris Jericho humor never gets old, ever. Just kind of like him. Well, no, he gets old, but he still wrestles. We have two matches from the G1 Climax, and chronologically the first one took place on the 22nd of July. Kenny Omega versus Yoshihashi, and this was before Omega got the super push that he would get. And both men just really exceeded my expectations in this match. They wrestled a way better match than they had any right to. Yoshihashi DDTing his way out of a one-wing angel was one of those oh my god moments, and that was kind of when I realized in the match, like, holy shit, he's got a chance of winning. He's got a chance of beating Kenny Omega in this match. Omega, for his credit there, kicked out of Loose Explosion, the swanton that Yoshihashi does, and it stole the show. This match really stole that particular day of the G1 Climax, and both men wrestled just head and shoulders above where they were on the card at the time, and it should continue to propel both men forward for 2017 and beyond.
I'd have to agree with everything you just said, so I won't even try to add to it.
I loved the match. I thought it was great.
Yeah, it was very hard deciding if this was match of the G1 Climax or if the next one was, and I know Abby's thoughts on this already, because the second match that's also a contender from the G1 Climax was from August the 6th, two members of Chaos facing off. Tomohiro Ishii versus Kazuchika Okada. And boy, I tell you, if the Japanese crowd knew the English chant of "This is wrestling," that's what they would have been chanting during this match. Because holy shit, Ishii threw everything at Okada, including the kitchen sink, and Okada had this just unnervingly great timing of being able to kick out at the latest possible second before Red Shoes' hand came down for that 3 count. Like, he would kick out at 2.95 and 2.99 from lariat after lariat, from a superplex, from a brainbuster, from diving lariats. And it was just one thing after another. It was like, what is it going to take? And just when you thought that Okada was going to be Super Okada, like John Cena is Super Cena, and be the Okada that we're all kind of like, no, Ishii just picks him up, drops him down with a high-angle brainbuster, and that's it. It was like, holy shit. And it's one of those things where Abby talks about Okada and matches we've seen with him versus matches we haven't. And this is one that we don't get to see outside of the G1 because members of Chaos just don't face each other like that. So it was good to see the two of them go at it like that. And goddamn, this match and the match I talked about with Yoshihashi and Kenny Omega just are kind of 1 and 1A for match of the G1 climax.
I loved Ishii and Okada. I thought it was great. I think it was probably one of the best matches Ishii has ever had.
I'm realizing as you're going down this list that I potentially have a New Japan match that maybe neither you nor Abby have on yours.
Alrighty, go for it.
Oh, you want me to jump in with it right now?
Yeah, you brought it up. Let's hear it.
Well, since you skipped over it on your way to the G1 Climax, I was thinking about Dominion from June 19th. Katsuyori Shibata and Yuji Nagata.
Another beautiful murder match.
Mm-hmm.
That was the match where I marked out for New Japan in a big way. I was talking to Abby at like 4 or 5 in the morning while that was on, and every kick Shibata landed, I was like, oh my god, he is fucking stiffing the shit out of him, and I love it.
Yeah, Shibata's just one of those guys that he makes you believe in everything he is doing in the ring.
Yes, and not only that, but I was emotionally invested in Blue Justice. Even though I knew Shibata was going to win the title back, I was rooting for him so hard. I was like, come on, old man, come on, you can pull it out, come on. You can take one more kick, come on. I was cheering for him. I wanted Shibata to win, but I also wanted Nagata to win. It was a weird dynamic, but I was really, really into it.
You know, that's one thing, even though New Japan really doesn't do storylines like sports entertainment does, they get you emotionally invested with the wrestlers, and they get you emotionally invested by the action in the ring.
Well, even the pre-match video package, I mean, you say they don't do stories, but without being able to understand what they were saying word for word, the video package itself could get you emotionally invested because it was basically showing the trajectory of Nagata from way back in the day up to the present. And showing you that he had achieved all these things and he was still fighting even at his age, and he wasn't just going to go away.
Yeah, but that's not a storyline like WWE does storylines.
Right. I realize we're using the term in different ways, but yeah, the video packages are a form of storytelling as opposed to a storyline.
Yeah, but it's the wrestlers that get you invested in New Japan.
Right. But
whereas
I
WWE,
just mean
I don't know what the hell they do anymore.
Right. To me, it was just a combination of all of those things. It was the video packages, it was the wrestlers getting me emotionally involved, and it was, as you say, beautiful murder.
This match also had a convention that I really like. They use this sparingly in New Japan, but they do tend to break it out every now and again. What I like to call the stolen finisher, where Nagata hit Shibata with a penalty kick in the match. And it was like, damn it, hell yes.
Oh yeah, I marked out huge for that.
You know, here, have a taste of your own medicine. And yeah, there's a match later on that I'll talk about where there was another stolen finisher, but that's a convention that I like that New Japan doesn't do it in every big match, but they kind of sparsely use it sparingly here and there in a few big matches during the year. You won't see it just once, but you won't see it in every big match either. New Japan will break it out here and there, a convention that I really like.
Agreed.
So we've gotten off of the G1 climax. We talked about something from Dominion. I'll move on to the one ROH match that I have on my list, which was from All-Star Extravaganza 8, Ladder Wars 6, a.k.a. Please Don't Die in Abby's words.
Yeah. I said
Which
that the
saw-
whole match, pretty much. Please don't die. Just please don't die.
The Addiction took on Motor City Machine Guns, who also took on the Young Bucks, a three-way tag match with ladders, with tables that would be broken into shards, with Christopher Daniels essentially a bloody mess from bell to bell, high spots aplenty, and the Young Bucks retaining their titles. Just this reminded me of why I was an ECW fan back in the day, and it really had a lot of that hardcore spirit in it.
This match reminded me of why Edge is a retired wrestler, because he used to do shit like this, and it probably shortened his career.
It was just insane. I mean, the Addiction and the Bucks, they just went all out. Motor City Machine Guns kind of disappeared in the last, 10 minutes of the match.
Which,
But God,
considering how many injuries Saban has had, I was kind of okay with that.
Yeah. But it was insane and crazy and so much fun and it was great.
Yeah, I won't say it's the most insane match on my list because, it's not going to top the Poseidon Adventure splash match in terms of insanity.
Nothing's going to top that.
Nothing ever will top that, but it's definitely the most high impact, the most high spots, the most high impact, the most extreme match on my list. So if you're a fan of that sort of thing, if you're not big Van Vader, then check out Ladder War 6 from All Star Extravaganza from Ring of Honor. That was on September 30th of this year.
More extreme than anything WWE called extreme all year long.
I don't think WWE did anything extreme all year long.
Certainly not comparable to that.
Nope. Not. There's very few things I think any federation has done this year that's comparable to that. That was in and of itself in a category in all of its own, in a league and a class all by itself.
Abby, remind me really quickly, was it Dominion where we had Michael Elgin in the ladder match?
I think so.
Yeah, I remember that being a fun match, but not insane crazy like All-Star Extravaganza 8.
Oh, no, they're not going to do that.
No, Michael Elgin ain't going to do that. That's for damn sure.
No, it was better than the ladder match that came the following night on WWE from what I remember, but it was nowhere near Ladder War 6.
No, not even close.
It was extreme, but it wasn't there. Yeah, we got two more entries on the list. This is the last one coming from New Japan. Kenny Omega taking on Hiroki Goto from King of Pro Wrestling on October the 10th. And all I really need to say about this match is a Japanese table breaks. I'll say it again. A Japanese table in this match breaks.
This match is the reason I made that joke during the last WWE pay-per-view when Kevin Owens tried to go put Roman Reigns through the table and it didn't break, and I said, what, did they import the tables from Japan?
I mean, granted, Gato did get a table put on top of him and that table got stomped on and that might have weakened the table a little bit, but a table broke. Yoshihashi proved just how useless he can be at ringside as a member of Chaos and in not helping Gato out one iota. And we got to see Omega kick out of a Kaiten, which is a sunset flip powerbomb from the top turnbuckle. We got to see Omega kick out of a Shoten Kai, and this is another match where New Japan used that convention of the stolen finisher, where Omega hits this cross-legged variant, a really weird-looking variant of the Ushigoroshi on Gato. It was like, fuck yeah, I get to see Gato's own move used against him. So that was good to see. It was a better match than I expected out of Gato. It was good to see Omega just fight out and fight out and fight out, and to see him get to retain that briefcase and take it into the January 4th show and get his title shot.
I think the fact that 2 Kenny Omega matches make your list is noteworthy, as is the fact that this, to me, it really solidly established that Kenny Omega was going to be a main event player. I mean, we kind of knew when he won the climax, but the fact that he retained in a great match with Goto, who you guys are not always a fan of, and that was a great match between the two of them, I think really cemented his place, not just as a guy who can be a top guy, but a guy who can make other guys look like top guys.
You made a good point there, because, on the 722 card from the G1 Climax, which was pretty early on in the G1 Climax, it was a completely different Kenny Omega than we were seeing on September 10th. On September 10th, Omega is a rock star. He's a superstar. He's got the briefcase. He's going into Wrestle Kingdom 11 as the challenger for the IWGP Heavyweight title with that briefcase. But yeah, on June 22nd or July 22nd, excuse me, he was just another competitor in the G1 Climax.
Exactly. So what's
I
your
don't
final?
like Goto, so.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean, is he had a great match with Goto, even though you can't stand him.
I mean, it was a good match. I'll give him that. But there's something about Goto, and I've been talking about this on Twitter. I'm just indifferent towards him. He's like he's the guy that just can't ever get it done. And I don't know. I don't have any faith in him.
Well, I have faith in Jason's final pick on the list because they've all been good.
The final pick comes down to NXT TakeOver Toronto, which happened November 19th. So this is one from a little over a month ago. TakeOver Toronto A up in Canada. We had DIY, Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano taking on the Revival. Which one's Dawson? Which one's Dash? In a best 2 out of 3 falls match. And even though it kind of irks me that, they always make a 2 out of 3 falls match go to 3 falls and they never have it just be a 2-0 finish, it was nice to see a quick pinfall by the Revival and then the comeback by DIY with the dueling submission finishers to finish a 2 of 3 falls match off, not with a fall, but with a submission. And it was just so cool to see the two members of the Revival holding hands to not tap on the mat, and then finally they just can't take it anymore and they tap. But, I mean, we know the Revival has been good in every match that they've had, and we know that Ciampa and Gargano can be great, and you put them together, and it lived up to and exceeded the expectations I had for it, which were pretty lofty, to be honest, going into this.
You just reminded me of another match on my list that you skipped over, and I have to include it now because you referenced which one's Dawson, which one's Dash. And the first time I got to really appreciate that chant was at NXT TakeOver in Dallas. And that match with American Alpha and the Revival was fucking phenomenal. And that was not the match people were there to see. People were there to see Nakamura. People were there to see Asuka. But they got every single person in the building into that match in a huge way. So that has to be on my top 10 of the year.
I think Abby's got another match on her list from TakeOver Dallas.
Yes, I do. Of course, I only have 5 matches because I can't remember all this crap and haven't had time to go through every single match everywhere. But I share a couple with Jason. The Ishii Okada match from G1, AJ and Shinsuke from Wrestle Kingdom 10. I'm going to throw out an obscure one here, and this was from an All Japan show on November 27th of this year. It was Onita and Fuchi defeating Oki and Sato to become the 100th All-Asian Tag Team Champions. Now, if anybody knows Onita, he's like the king of the death match in Japan. Mm-hmm. Exploding barbed wire, kick your ass, barbed wire bat matches.
Light tubes, yeah, exploding C4.
Dynamite under the ring, blowing him and everybody up, yes.
Swimming pool explosion death matches, yeah.
Yeah, any kind of death match, Onita is in them. And this was just great. I mean, it was crazy. It was insane. It was 2 old guys in there just whooping ass, and it was such a fun match to watch. And earlier on this card, this was the card that had Kabuki and Dory Funk Jr., across the ring from each other. And it was like a 5.5 hour card, but it was so much fun. But yeah, that's my number 5 match. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's a lot of fun. The other match from TakeOver in Dallas that I have is Nakamura and Zayn.
Yes.
And I just thought it was a beautifully worked match for 2 guys that had never been in the ring before, had never touched before that match. It was just beautifully worked. The crowd was into it. 2 guys that were over and 2 guys that looked 100% better when they got done with the match than they did going into it. That's like my only WWE match to make the list.
And that's an NXT match, so it's not even a main card match.
I didn't have a WWE card make my list.
Well, I think I can take most of the list that Jason did, and I've added a couple of things to it, and Abby's added a couple of things to it that I agree with, but one that neither of you has mentioned, and this may in part be personal bias from, again, having been there, but Chris Hero versus Zack Sabre Jr. from Mercury Rising 2016, that was just a half hour of beautifully brutal murder with each of them going, can you top this? Oh, you think you can? Fuck you. Can you top this? And they just beat the ever-loving crap out of each other all over Eddie Dean's ranch.
I did not see that, so I will have to take your word for it.
Yeah, I didn't see that either, but you've caught my attention with it now. I'll keep my eye open. If there is a video of it, I would enjoy watching it.
I remember at the start of it, and I've been a Chris Hero fan since Ted Petty Invitational days, and at the start of it, I was thinking, man, I hope Chris Hero is in good enough shape to go with Zack Sabre, and then 5 minutes into the match, I completely forgot that I ever had that thought.
We'll have to find that and watch it then.
Yeah, definitely see if there's video from that match.
The problem was it took me about 3 matches after that to get back into the card because that was the opening match. They kind of stole the show right at the beginning, and we had to really build back up after that.
That was the curtain jerker.
Yeah, that was the opener. That was crazy. But then we had Kota Ibushi in the main event, and I don't know if that's a top 10 match of the year, but just getting to see Kota Ibushi live, that was an emotional high for me, whether it's top 10 or not.
And not as Tiger Mask W.
No, not as Tiger Mask W.
Well, my top match of the year was Marufuji versus Okada from the G1 Climax. I thought this match was head and shoulders above their King of Pro Wrestling main event. These two had never been in the ring together, and it was gorgeous. Okada worked outside of the box, so it was an exciting match from him. You expected Okada to win hands down, but Marufuji ended up killing him. And so that was my match of 2016.
Made him look like raw steak.
I'd have been stunned if you didn't put this on your list, Abby, because I know you were all about Mero the Butcher for at least 2 or 3 weeks afterward.
He was just, he's good anyway, but he was on target the entire tournament.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that Tokyo Sports voted their King of Pro Wrestling the match of the year. I didn't like that near as much as I liked their match from the G1 Climax. I thought it was just so much better.
The G1 Climax was just so much more brutal and hard-hitting. And
it was fresher because you had never seen it before. You'd never seen the two together, and it was just something completely different from Okada. And I can
You've
enjoy
never seen Okada leave with a purple chest before.
It was great. I can enjoy an Okada match when he wrestles someone that takes him out of his comfort zone. And Marufuji definitely did that. You could see that during the match. And, of course, the fact that Marufuji won just made it that much better.
And unfortunately, we likely won't be seeing much of him in New Japan in the coming year, with Noah being completely separate now.
Yeah, I'm going to have to actually stay up and watch Noah shows now.
Unfortunately, we'll probably have to see Tai Chi come back, and
Yeah.
we may actually get that Tai Chi Bone Soldier match.
No, thanks.
I'll walk the dog.
I don't even have a dog, and I'll walk the dog.
Walk the cat.
There you go.
Yeah, Tango, we're going for a walk.
Put him on a leash. That works great, by the way. You should try
Yeah, I
it.
can imagine.
But yeah, the one nice thing about Suzuki-gun coming back is I'd like to see Killer Elite Squad come back just to add another team of credibility to the IWGP heavyweight tag ranks.
Yeah, because as good as New Japan rebounded after the Exodus, the one division that did not rebound was the heavyweight tag team division. It just has not been the same since Anderson and Gallows left.
It really, Tongaroa and Tama Tonga just aren't the same caliber of a team as Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson were. It's just, they're not on the same level, and don't even get me started with Grand Bash heels. They can go fuck themselves.
By the way, before we get Jordan in on this, because I know he wants to do his best of the year as well, something Abby said clicked with me about taking Okada out of his comfort zone, because the reason I didn't put Tetsuya Naito versus Okada on my best of list was it was a good match. I would go back and watch it again. I would go back and watch it again 3 or 4 times, but 2 things about it bother me. One, it felt like they were pulling the plug on Naito too soon, And two, it didn't feel like Okada really raised his level.
And that's just it. When he wrestles people he has wrestled umpteen times, he's just phoning it in.
That's the point that I was going to make. It seemed like something we had seen before.
Right.
Yeah.
It was good, but it wasn't, oh my God, great.
No, that's why the Ishii match with Okada was so great. Why the Marufuji match was so great. We had never seen it before, and we're not likely to see it again.
Right on. So on that note, let's get our thoughts of Jordan, what he thought was the best matches of 2016.
Are we going to get him or his voicemail?
Hopefully him and not the voicemail. He said he'd be ready at 10.
10 to 1 we get his voicemail.
Now we're going to get Captain New Japan's voicemail.
You know, one of these days, Jordan will just put something on his voicemail. Hey, there we go. Jordan J. Carver, welcome to Thursday Night AMP. Time for your best of 2016. How are you doing tonight, sir?
I am doing great, my man. How are you?
We're having a blast over here. We're reminiscing about our favorite matches from New Japan, Ring of Honor, and even one lone WWE match made Jason's list. So we're having a good time.
Absolutely. And I have my top 10 list ready to go. You know, I just like to reflect and look back upon this year, just as wrestling journalists traveling and going on the road and going to different locker rooms and seeing so many different faces and partying even with different people. It's amazing. And I like this top 10 list that really reflects on my journey this year in professional wrestling.
Well, that's why I want to hear it, because it's not just about what you saw that you thought was the best. It's also about what made you a better person by your getting to have those experiences. So have at it, my man.
Exactly. I love it. And, you know, I'm so excited for what 2017 is going to come along. It's going to only be better next year. So I'm looking forward to it, and I'm ready to share my list.
Yeah, please, go ahead. The floor is yours. I'm giving you the office.
So starting at number 10, a guest who was on here before, Adam Knight against Dragneel. This show was at Rookie Sports Bar, and, you know, since it was a bar show, I kind of got a little wired, but I remember I was wired, but the match created so much more so much euphoria in my experience because it was such a good match, and this kid is a rookie, and he's proven to be such a good worker. And, like, this guy's my age, and he's training every week, paying his dues, and good for him. I know he's definitely going to go far in the business, Dragneel. And against Adam Knight, the veteran, it was a perfect match.
Yeah,
Perfect bar show match. I rate that Sorry, I just got a cough, guys. Give me a second.
Oh, sure, go ahead.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
So for number 9...
Go ahead.
So for number 9, sorry, it's Demolition and Wildman Purple against the Cannon Clan. This was at Rookie Sports Bar. Same thing. You guys know the Rookies bar shows. Everyone likes to have a few drinks and everything. I remember it, and it was a really good match. Just seeing Demolition still getting it done at their age was fantastic, and seeing legends in the ring, like themselves, was definitely a cool experience to see, especially a chat with them in the locker room. Terry Darso is such a great guy. Number 8, we have Tommy Lee Curtis and Tyler Colton. Tommy Lee Curtis is actually a guy I've been traveling with to Minneapolis this year, and he's done really well. I've enjoyed a lot of the Steel Domain matches, but this match against Tyler Colton stood out. Tyler Colton's a promising young prospect himself, and to look at that match, it was perfectly done, and it just kept my eyes glued. I didn't even look at my phone during that match. It was a completely enjoyable experience. At number 7, we have Danny Duggan against Mitch Paradise of Steel Domain Wrestling. That was for the Steel Domain Wrestling Championship, in which Danny Duggan won. It was a great match. I recommend you see it on YouTube. And as for number 6, it was Magnus against Danny Duggan at the Holy Cross Gymnasium. That was a great match as well. Number 5, in Oconto Falls, Wisconsin. Went on the road to Wisconsin for the first time. Interviewed DJZ and made headlines that month. And on that show, it was Hardcore Holly, like I said, against Dysfunction. Hardcore Holly's a great guy, and he proved it that he can still go in the ring. It was awesome. Number 4, Jason Kincaid against a good friend of mine I've made in the business this year, Silas Young. A completely athletic matchup. My eyes were glued on the whole thing. Number 3, Cheeseburger and Danny Duggan. Even though it was a dark match, it really stood out to me. I thought it was a really well-executed match, and I enjoyed that match for some reason more than most of the matches on the card, besides the Briscoes against Jay Lethal and Roderick Strong and against Redragon. Sorry, it was a 3-way tag team match. That match was really awesome, and I just love watching the Ring of Honor workers work. You know, you just never, you know that you're never going to get bored watching a wrestling program if you're watching Ring of Honor. And for number 1, the Motor City Machine Guns against Leo Rush and Moose. Like I said on number 2, it was part of this experience of going to Milwaukee. Leo Rush is such a good athlete. Moose proved to be a good athlete as well. He's in TNA right now, and they face Motor City Machine Guns. And wow, those tag teams are fantastic. One of the best in the business today. And that is my list.
That's a pretty good list, and a few things on there that I haven't checked out that I want to check out. And I did like you mentioning that there was a Motor City Machine Guns match on the list, because that was one of Jason's, was All-Star Extravaganza, Addiction, Motor City Machine Guns, and the Young Bucks. And I think both Abby and I agree that was beautiful, glorious violence. So even though that wasn't one you were at personally, Jordan, I would put that on your list too.
Absolutely. I enjoyed that match as well. You know, just, you know, going on the road all the time this year, like I was just saying with my friend, seeing hundreds and hundreds of matches, it's so hard to pick all the best ones, but I had some extra time at work today to think of some, and those were definitely the ones that stood out to me.
You know, I offer you this challenge, Jordan. If you can make a YouTube playlist with all 10 of your matches, they may not all be on YouTube, and if they're not, that's fine. But if you can make a playlist with those matches, I'll share it on AngryMarks.com.
Absolutely. I can probably do a playlist of that. One of the projects for 2017 is to get a official Jordan Garber YouTube channel up, as well as a website. I was thinking about getting a website and everything, and you guys know as well, just a cheap plug here on the show, trading cards are $1. Like, they're going fast. I already made a status on all of my social media, and now 15 people want the card. It was like in an hour. So get your Jordan Garber trading card. They're limited edition, and they're made by Topps from mytradingcards.com. So get yourself your authentic Jordan Garber trading card. Just a cheap plug. Sorry about that, Steve. Go on.
No, that's all right. In fact, I'm going to give you a cheap plug, because you actually reached out to me through your Tumblr account the other day when I made a post on Tumblr. So you're not kidding when you say you use all forms of social media. You really do. You're
I'm on Tumblr as well. Yeah, it's awesome. It's at Jordan J. Garber. Follow me on there. I don't really know how to use it, but I'm getting there. I'm just learning it right now.
Oh, well, you're picking it up good speed because you figured out how to use private messages. So I'd say you're well on your way. And anything else you want to plug before you go tonight?
Tomorrow night, see me at Rookie Sports Bar for CWE Wrestling. Check out Jordan Garber Now next Tuesday. In an hour, I'm doing an interview with Bruce Hart, and that's going to be awesome. It's going to be part 2. We talked with him in 2014 and 2015, but he explained a lot in 2014. We're going to transcend. Sorry, I don't think transcend is a word, but transcend into new and recent topics, because I definitely know he has a lot on his mind, and he does want to bring that up. So that's pretty much it. Follow me on Twitter, and thank you guys so much for having me on. It was a great experience, as always.
No problem, Jordan. Take care, and we'll see you again in 2017. Cheerio, mate.
Cheerio. Have a good night, guys.
Yep. All right, Jordan J. Garber with Jordan's Corner and Jordan's own Top 10. And I'm not kidding when I say this. There's a few matches on there that I haven't seen that I would really like to see.
Some of those ROH matches from Wisconsin I haven't seen. I'd like to see those.
Oh, exactly. He caught my eye with that one. I was like, you know what? Damn it. I wish I had driven out there, hung out with Jordan, and watched that card, because I bet it was a lot of fun.
Sounds like some good matches went on up there.
Furthest I've driven for Ring of Honor so far is to Chicago. Well, no, actually, I did drive to Detroit when they had to show their WrestleMania weekend, so I got to count that too. But generally, with Ring of Honor, I try to keep it within like 6 or 7 hours. But I was going for the entire weekend in Detroit, so I was going to see Ring of Honor while I was there.
Although you're not making the sojourn there this year, though.
Exactly, as long as I was there anyway, as Abby said. What did you say, Jason?
I said you're not making the sojourn this year. You're staying away from Orlando, correct?
Yeah, Orlando is it's a miserable city. It's no offense to the people who live there, but it sucks to drive in. The weather's terrible. The venues are awful. Orlando is no buys.
The weather is not awful.
It was awful when I was there.
And buggy and muggy.
I've been there twice, and it was buggy and muggy both times, and it was very unpleasant.
It's Florida. It's always buggy and muggy. That's part of, I think, the state seal.
maybe it is. But I would much rather come to your neck of the woods, Abby. I'm sure the weather is far better.
Oh, hell no, it's buggy and muggy here, too.
Oh, I just remember walking out of the hotel room when we were there for Michelle in 2006 and just immediately being drenched in sweat, like literally 1 second after walking out the hotel front door.
Oh, yeah, it's like walking into a sponge. That's exactly how it is here, too. It's horrible. I mean, it's supposed to be 80 degrees here on Christmas.
Wow.
Well, it did get back up into the 40s and 50s here today, so...
No, I don't want to hear it.
We barely got to 40 today.
You know, Abby gets to break
75.
Abby gets to break out her furred line bikini for Christmas.
It's horrible. I mean, you walk outside, it's like, it's not fucking Christmas, it's August.
Mm-hmm.
High of 39 here Christmas Day.
Yeah, it'll be pushing like 68 here in Kentucky.
Yeah,
It's going to be pushing 80 here.
I believe they said 60s next week here for Nebraska, so...
I got the cold end of the stick here.
Unfortunately, that's Pittsburgh for you.
I guess Jordan's got the cold end of the stick, but he's no longer here.
All right, yeah, I think we can say that he's always got the cold end of the stick. There's no question about that.
That sounds like that needs to be a euphemism.
The cold end of the stick.
That's my feelings every time Bone Soldier comes out for a match. Give him the cold end of the stick.
Poor Boner.
Well, at least Yoshitatsu's going to be leaving.
Yes.
He's going to CMLL.
Yes.
Where he can get his neck broken again?
God, let's hope not.
I don't know if that's a style of wrestling he really wants to be doing.
I don't know why they're sending him other than nobody likes him, but...
That could be it.
See, this is always the thing when you discuss this. Okay, in 2016, nobody likes him, but in his time in WWE, I liked him.
You like a bunch of weird people. We don't hold it against you.
But back then, during his WWE run, he wasn't weird. He was just a good, solid, all-around wrestler.
Nah.
It was a downtime for WWE. It still is a downtime for WWE. But
I was about to say, when did it start being an uptime?
When New Day lost the belts?
Well, we all predicted that. We all got that one dead right on the money. It was time, and thank God they did it.
Yay.
They'll probably get him back before WrestleMania.
What, so they can promote that Art of Not Being Booty book or whatever?
Yeah, so they can promote their booty self-help book.
Is it a self-help book for your booty?
No, it's how not to be booty.
No.
I'm worried about WWE in 2017.
I'm not, because I limit my exposure to it now, so I only watch...
SmackDown is great. This past week of SmackDown was incredible.
You mean the 10-second squash AJ gave James Ellsworth?
That was great. Let's see, Natty going off on Nikki Bella was great.
Yeah, finally admitting that she was the one who was behind the attack at Survivor Series. Thank God. And
calling her out, calling her a bitch a couple of times. That was great. Renee slapping The Miz. That was great.
Okay, I can watch that 100 times. I won't lie. That's always going to be great.
That was,
I could make that my desktop wallpaper.
It was just a really good episode of SmackDown. They're getting better and better every week. I just worry about Raw.
Well, hopefully when Finn Balor comes back, it'll get better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he's not coming back anytime soon.
What's his projected return date?
Roman is going to have that stupid beef jerky, Hellboy jerky belt, and it's just going to be bad.
He's going to have all the belts. He's going to have the U.S. belt. He's going to have both of the tag belts. He's going to have Rich Swan's cruiserweight belt. He's going to have the women's title. He's going to be like the great Sasuke, just titles all over his arms and his waist and around his neck.
But to answer your question, Jason, the last interview I saw with Finn on this subject, he said he knows that people would love to see him at the Royal Rumble, and if they absolutely asked him to, he would try to find a way to do it, but he doesn't think that's realistic and that WrestleMania is the goal.
Okay.
Yes. He's not willing to risk further injury, long-term injury on his arm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he is way ahead of schedule in rehabbing, but I don't see him being
I guess at this point, when you have Wrestle Kingdom that kind of kicks off WrestleMania season, WrestleMania doesn't quite seem that far off.
No, and it's really not.
Mm-hmm. And I would rather him wait and be as close to or past 100% than come back too soon.
Yeah. I mean, his arm may be getting better, but, I mean, if you saw the latest pictures of him, he's dropped a lot of weight and a lot of muscle that he's got to get back.
Yeah, it'll take some time to rebuild that.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know he could drop weight.
Speaking of which, Neville looks quite well rebuilt since his return.
Angry Elf Neville is like my new favorite thing.
It was awesome.
And the crowd, they loved seeing it. They didn't even care. I mean, poor Rich Swann. They wanted Neville to beat the crap out of him.
He's like this angry troll that wants to eat your kids. He's just great.
He came and beat everybody up, and the crowd's like, thank you, Neville. Oh, he's supposed to be the heel. He's beating everybody down, and the crowd is just so happy to see him because they haven't seen. I mean, the last time they saw him, they weren't using him right, and then they just kind of took him off TV, and now he's back and in a situation where he belongs, and the fans are just so happy that he's involved in the fray there.
I'm not even sure if they were happy or if that was just a condemnation of the booking of the Cruiserweight division that we gave the Golden Turducken to. That's like, okay, fine, somebody destroys these guys and we don't think anything of. We're happy about that.
It's the shot in the arm that the division needs because WWE dropped the ball, I think, by putting the title on the dullest person they could put it on to begin with.
No charisma boy.
Yeah, and nobody knew, and instead of utilizing some of the people that the fans already knew from Raw and SmackDown, they bring in all these new people that nobody knows.
Right.
And,
well, except for Brian Kendrick, if they've been around long enough, they would know him.
Yeah, but Neville was the face that should have been heading up that division to begin with.
Right.
And that probably would have got them a hell of a lot better reception on Raw. Probably would have got a hell of a lot better reception going into 205 Live, and hopefully now they can just turn it all around and have it be what it should be, what it should have always been.
Mm-hmm. This is their chance to finally get it right.
You know, Dorado will be coming in soon, Grand Metalik, whatever his name is.
Tozawa
will be coming in soon.
I thought you were talking about Lindsay Dorado, but
no, Lindsay Dorado, no.
Yeah, we already had that confusion earlier this year on a show.
Lindsay Dorado, Mascara Dorada. I don't know why Dorada has the feminine version of the name. I don't know.
Mascara, because mascara is feminine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but still, he's a man. So, I mean, I don't know why he used Mascara Dorada anyway, but...
Well, they all do. I mean, there's Masquerita Sagrada. That's a dude, too.
Mask is feminine. Mask takes the feminine, like Mio Mascaras, man of 1,000 masks. It's plural, but it's feminine plural.
Yeah, it's just the way it is with masks.
Mask, yeah, in Spanish, mask is feminine, and it takes the feminine A.
Well, if I was a man, I'd be pissed off about that.
Yeah, but I think we've seen enough, I don't remember the word, exotico, is that the word? Where I think Mexico has just a whole different view of gender than other people do.
I took 2 years of Spanish. I know enough to be dangerous, but some of the stuff is just weird.
I know enough to order a beer and get slapped. That's about my Spanish level.
I know tequila. That's enough to get me by.
I know enough to watch Carlos Cabrera and Marcelo Rodriguez on the pay-per-views.
Donde está el baño? That one I know. Well, anything else that we want to go over about that show other than it was a show?
Did anybody else just really think it sucked the way Sasha Banks tapped out with 2 seconds left on the clock?
I know you've already harped on this once during the show, but it's worth mentioning again because Vince McMahon reportedly was the one who thought that was a great idea and that everybody would be into it and counting down to the finish.
It's going to be brilliant. We're going to have her tap with 2 seconds left.
The thing that bothers me about it, yeah, Vince is an idiot, but more so than Vince being an idiot, the reason people get into that if they've watched mixed martial arts is because when somebody applies a submission with 5 seconds go in the match, you're begging for them to not tap out because you know how much it hurts and you know if they just survive, they got 5 more minutes or it's the end of the match and then they can go to the judges and maybe win. So that's why you beg for them to survive.
And that's the feel that I had. And Sasha was playing to that where she, kind of looked up at the clock. She was aware of how much time was left and you knew it was kind of her fighting against the clock. And that's why I just couldn't suspend my disbelief anymore when with 2 seconds left, it's like, all you had to do is hold on for 2 more seconds.
Right. And in a real MMA match, I've seen people tap out with 1 second to go, but they really gotta have that submission in fucking tight to the point where it's like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. Most people do not tap out with 2 seconds left.
I just don't like them hot-shotting the title back and forth. I mean, SmackDown manages to have almost their entire women's roster involved in something, and Raw, it's just about 2 women. Poor Bayley is out there doing stupid-ass arm wrestling contests with Dana Brooke. It's like, really?
Well, if there's good news, not that it really helps in the short term, but the long-term plan is Bayley versus Charlotte at WrestleMania.
I think it'll be over long before then.
I hope you're wrong about that. You're probably not, but I hope you are.
If they can get Ronda Rousey in, they'll bring her in to face Charlotte.
I heard they muted something on the Hulu replay that I think it was Big E said about Charlotte breaking Ric Flair's record within a month.
Right, yeah. They were wisecracking about how Ric Flair was a 16-time world champion because he lost 15 times, and that's when Big E said, that's Charlotte in the month.
Yeah, great line. They should not have censored that. Yeah, it was too good. It hit a little too close to home for Vince, I think.
Yes. Trying to remember if there's anything else about Roadblock I want to say, because it was such a forgettable show on the whole.
It really was, and the main event was just not good. It drug and drug. I love Kevin Owens, but Lord, that match, it just seemed to take forever, and it was not good.
The only thing about that match I really got into was what I already mentioned, was Kevin Owens trying to put Roman through the table and the table not breaking. And he's like, oh, screw it, I'll get back up here and jump off the barricade a second time. It'll work this time.
That almost made in Japan table.
Almost.
If it had bent or caved in a little bit, then we would know it was made in Japan.
And honestly, it was just such a predictable fuck finish to have Jericho come in, get him intentionally disqualified, and then give him a big hug. Like, we didn't all see that coming. Was there one person in this world who was swerved by that?
No. And then you had the opening of Raw this week that, even children thought was stupid.
I will take your word for it because I read Ian's recap and I'm hearing you talk about it now, but I did not watch.
Yeah, Jericho getting unintentionally locked in the shark cage and hoisted. Foley forgetting where the hell he was. It just wasn't. Foley needs to, when he has his hip replacement surgery, he needs to stay out for about 6 months.
And their current obsession with the shark cage anyway has nothing to do with the storyline and everything to do with them selling WWE toys. Mm-hmm. Apparently Paul Ellering in a shark cage did not sell enough of them, so they had to bring it back.
They're going to do it on the main roster now, too.
It's always about something else with WWE. It's never about selling the wrestling. It's always about selling Total Divas or selling this toy or selling this video game.
Or selling videos.
Yeah, or this book, or this merchandise. Why can't you just sell us what's going on our screen?
This just reminds me of another reason that I would nominate New Japan as a whole, not just best matches of the year, but best promotion of the year, is that when you watch a New Japan show, you're not inundated with buy this New Japan t-shirt and buy these New Japan gloves and buy this New Japan breakfast cereal. It's just good wrestling. That sells itself. They don't need the extra crap.
God, let's hope there's no dancing, crazy time traveling cats at the beginning of Wrestle Kingdom this year. Doraemon. I don't think I can survive that again because that was just too surreal at 2:00 in the morning.
No Barney Rubble strippers and ETs that looked like they were made out of feces, and I thought I was tripping on acid, and I'm like, wait, I haven't done that since college.
ETs with feces eating Reese's?
I didn't go all that far now.
Oh, that's the first thing I think of when you say that is E.T. eating the Reese's Pieces.
It looked like an E.T. that was made out of poop, is what it looked like.
At least we didn't have to suffer through Tana and Makabe and loincloths up there.
Ooh.
Of course, this year, we'll get the anime match, Tiger Mask W and Dark Tiger, or Black Tiger, or whatever it's called.
Mm-hmm. And watch Tai Chi come out for the Rumble.
Ugh. As long as Kabuki shambles his way out there, I will be fine. Fujiwara can shamble his way out there. Everything will be right in my world.
Koshinaka can shamble his way out there.
Just have all the old guys come in and do it. And let them fight over cheeseburger some more.
Well, since this is the last show of 2016, unless you guys really want to do a show on the 30th, I think this probably is our last show of the year, right?
Yeah, and we won't have another one until after Wrestle Kingdom.
That's why I was thinking maybe we should just run down the whole card right here and right now before we wrap it up.
All right, let's bring it up here.
I'll go ahead and read the dark match since I've got it up in front of me.
Okay.
It's Tenzan and Liger versus Manabu Nakanishi and Taguchi versus Tiger Mask and Yuji Nagata versus the surprise entrance in the Rumble. That's how it's listed. Surprise entrance.
Oh, so you're talking the Rambo.
Yes.
Okay. As long as Jado doesn't win again this year, I'm fine.
Captain Noah won it last year.
Captain Noah is dead, so we don't have to worry about him again.
And then, as Jason just mentioned a moment ago, Tiger Mask W and Tiger the Dark in our anime match.
And we're guessing the Tiger Mask W is going to be Kota Ibushi.
It's Kota Ibushi versus ACH.
Yeah, that seems about right.
But don't tell anybody because, it's supposed to be a secret.
Like, we won't be able to see that Tiger the Dark is ACH. The size, the shape of him, you'll be able to tell. And you knew it was Ibushi the first time we saw him just because of the freckles.
Yes, I did all that and then somebody stole it from me.
Yeah, but you get the credit. You were first.
Mole patterns, that's who it was Ibushi.
Honestly, just from his physique and the moveset he was doing, you could tell it was him.
Yeah.
But anyway, after that, I assume Jason has the card pulled up so he can take it from there with the next match.
Yeah, and holy shit, for the first time in like 45 fucking years, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship is not going to be between 3 teams or 4 teams or 5 teams. It's going to be a regular tag team match between the champions, the Young Bucks, and the challengers, Roppongi Vice. And
early candidate to steal the show.
Yes, I really want Roppongi Vice to win.
Amen.
I'd like them to win too. It's nice to see them when they have the belts and when Tiger Hattori isn't screwing them out of the belts.
Mm-hmm.
And the Young Bucks have held the titles 50 million times already. Let Roppongi Vice hold on to them for a little bit this time.
And it's certainly not going to hurt the Young Bucks in terms of their bookings because they're in demand everywhere. So no problem for them if they drop the title.
No, none at all.
Yeah, give the rub to Beretta and Romero. They could use it.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of getting the rub,
speaking of not being a clusterfuck in the IWGP Junior Tag Team Championship match, they saved the clusterfuck for the never open weight 6-man Tag Team Championship match with like 150 different teams here. We've got Finley, Ricochet, and Kojima, the champions, taking on a Bullet Club team of Bad Luck Fale, Hangman Page, and Yujiro Takahashi. That just screams excitement right there. Versus the Chaos team of Jado, Will Ospreay, and Yoshihashi. I think they just threw 3 guys together on the Chaos team and said, yeah, you 3 out there. And Los Ingobernables de Japan, Bushi, Evil, and Sonata.
This is one of those cases where even as an R. Sleaze fan, I can't justify his team. Go ahead, Abby, sorry.
I want Los Ingobernables to win this.
Yes,
because they're actually a team.
Yeah.
The only real team out of all of them other than the champs.
And they've never even defended the titles, I don't think.
That's true. I think this is their first title defense.
Yes.
Does Kojima finally have a belt?
Well, I think Seidel probably sent his back by now, so yeah.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he does. He's got his belt now.
He's got his belt. Yay.
Creepy Yoga Boy, I think, had to send it back as part of his, plea deal with Japan.
Right. We'll let you go, but return the title.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't want to see Hangman Page with any New Japan title, so hopefully Bullet Club doesn't win. The Chaos team is just kind of, Jado and Ospreay and Yoshihashi. I'm pulling for Los Ingobernables in this one, too.
I want Yoshihashi to have a title, but not with those 2.
No, and it seems like Ospreay's got better things to do than carry the 6-man titles anyway.
Yeah.
Bigger and better. Yeah, one thing that really got me when I was watching the match with him and Ricochet earlier today, rewatching that for my best of matches where he did this kind of, I got my eyes on Yukishita, who was at ringside doing commentary. It was like, I'd really like to see him go after the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship again.
I'm down with that.
Well, hopefully after Wrestle Kingdom, Kushida won't have it.
Yeah, hopefully the detractors who were saying it was too soon for Will Ospreay this year won't be saying that in 2017.
Yeah. Well, that's about 3 or 4 matches down the card. We'll get to Kushida in a minute. But first, we've got Cody the American Nightmare versus Juice Robinson.
You know how you're talking about walking a dog and you don't even walk a dog?
This is the one where you're going to walk the dog,
This is a match where I'm going to go and make coffee, and I don't even drink coffee nor own a coffee maker.
You know,
I'm going to walk the dog.
As much as we're all taking a crap on it right now, and I'm not saying it's going to be any good, the fact is, I do like both of these wrestlers individually. I liked Juice Robinson before he even came to New Japan as CJ Parker, and I liked Cody even when he was doing the gimmicks that y'all hate. So, I don't know that it'll be a good match, but individually I think they're each good.
I don't have a problem with Robinson. It's just, Cody just isn't the right fit for Bullet Club. I don't know if he would be the right fit for New Japan, not in Bullet Club either, but yeah, I don't have much interest in this. It's like, yeah, you can job out Robinson. He's kind of low on the card and make Cody look strong, but why? Where are you going with Cody?
Yeah, I don't think Cody's going to get much of a reaction out of the Tokyo Dome crowd.
No.
For all the reasons we've already established, including the fact that his dad was never used there as a star, so no. So the much bigger match to follow it, Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole, an ROH World Title defense on Wrestle Kingdom.
They did this last year, and they didn't really get a great response. Hopefully, with the fact that, you know, Cole has been over there several times and worked matches, and they know O'Reilly, hopefully this will get a better response than the Elgin Lethal match did last year.
Yeah, O'Reilly tends to get good reactions. At least he does when he was part of Red Dragon and part of the IWGP Champions, and when they were challenging for those titles, and in Best of the Super Juniors. O'Reilly can draw a good reaction. I'm not quite sold on if the Dome crowd will like Adam Cole or not, but we'll see.
I think
They
Adam
like
Cole
chanting along with him.
Yeah, that's what I
Adam
was about
Cole,
to say.
baby!
And I feel like in the last 12 months, Adam Cole is a bigger star now, so I think it'll be a good time for him to be in this match.
It'll be a good match. I just hope that it's better received than last year's match was.
Yeah, this is a match where I won't go make coffee or walk the dog.
I might go walk the dog I don't have during this next match because...
Me too.
I don't think, other than just the sheer pleasure of seeing Makabe and Hanma beat up either of these other teams, I don't think I can get much out of this. What? Oh, I forgot. The Ornery Uncles, you love them.
No, we're not dealing with the Ornery Uncles. We're dealing with
Crazy Uncles?
with two of her favorite.
You're dealing with my spirit animals. Nobody beats up my spirit animals.
Yes, the Stone Pitbull and Yano. Okay. I just couldn't remember if they were the Ornery Uncles or the Crazy Uncles or what.
They're not uncles.
They're neither uncles. They're not uncles.
Okay.
Nakanishi and Nagata are the ornery uncles. Tenkozy are the crazy uncles.
That's right. So Ishii and Yano are not uncles at all.
No, they are the greatest tag team to ever live.
Well, they're better than Tamatanga and Tangaloa, so.
And definitely better than Hanma and Makabe.
Oh.
Except, like I was starting to say, I can still get perverse pleasure out of Makabe and Hanma just being brutal to people.
In my nightmares, it's like the only wrestling matches that are ever on are GBH versus the New Day.
No, that would be, my horror would be GBH versus Gorillas of Destiny forever.
That would be pretty bad too.
I don't know. I just really want Yano and Ishii to win. They deserve it. They've earned it.
I'd like them to win, but I mean, this is just complete bizarro world where the IWGP Tag Team Championship, the heavyweight version, is taking place between 3 teams, and the junior heavyweight version is taking place between 2 teams.
Yeah, it's usually the other way around.
It usually is, yeah. It's bizarre.
Yano and Ishii have to be involved somehow. I prefer this to the gauntlet for the never
being in the
six-man.
Rumble, yeah.
Yeah.
True.
New Japan Rumble, or the Rambo, or whatever they call it.
Well, we've already teased this earlier in our preview, so now is the time to talk about Kushida defending the junior heavyweight title against Hiromu Takahashi.
This will be good. This will be very good. If you saw the show on Saturday, the pull apart that Kushida and Takahashi had, yeah, this is going to be crazy.
I think at this point I can say that Hiromu Takahashi has eclipsed Yujiro Takahashi as my favorite guy named Takahashi.
Definitely. He's batshit. He might not, wrestle for many more years if he keeps going in the style he's got now, but this should be a great match. A hell of a lot of fun.
He's only 27 years old, so unless his body completely breaks down, we've got at least another 10 years of him.
Yeah, but did you see
never know
some
what
of the
diseases he can pick up licking title belts.
and caps?
Well, there is that.
I don't know, but I'm expecting this to be a hell of a lot of fun.
I think they put it forth from the top for a reason. They're expecting big things from this.
Yes.
I'm sick of Kushida. I finally hit my wall with Kushida. I am sick of Kushida.
And if you're going to do a title switch, it might as well be at Wrestle Kingdom 11 on the biggest stage.
Definitely. Give Los Ingobernables all the belts.
Well, here's one that I don't want to see a title change in. Katsuyori Shibata and Hiroki Goto. First of all, Shibata doesn't need to keep winning and losing the Never Openweight Championship. He just needs to hold it forever. Second of all, no to Goto.
Well, Shibata has said he wants to, retire the Never belt. Lock it up, put it away, get rid of it.
How about he retires it by breaking it over Gato's head?
Yeah, I mean, I still do not like Goto. He's just, his entrance video is full of him getting his ass kicked. That's all you need to know about him.
Well, for no other reason than Shibata can execute beautiful murder on him, I will still enjoy this.
Oh, yeah, I will too, just watching him get his ass whooped.
Getting his ass whooped to higher levels than he normally gets his ass whooped.
Yes, it will be beautiful.
And speaking of title changes, I do not want to see, for the love of God, don't put stupid Tana and his stupid hair over Tetsuya Naito or I will riot. I will have a one-man riot right here in my home.
I think they're going to end up doing it.
Oh, God, no, please.
What we have to understand is Wrestle Kingdom is the go-home fans happy show. So let's make the fans happy, and probably Tana, since he's getting new music and he'll have his hair did all nice, he will probably leave with the belt.
Why is that sending the fans home happy? To me, that is the exact opposite of that, because Naito is the fan favorite right now.
I know
there's
this.
still fans with towels in the audience who love getting their Tana sweat.
I know that Naito
Come to the arena with the little Tana bears.
Go ahead,
Kenny
Abby.
Omega should have just killed that Tana bear. That's what they do at Wrestle Kingdom. Let's send everybody home happy, and, the good guy wins.
It may be, from the booking standpoint, the right decision, but from emotional investment and who people are into, it's wrong.
Exactly. It's Gato listening to what he thinks is best versus what is actually best, and it's going to be the same way in the main.
The only way I can justify this is if taking the Intercontinental title off Naito leads him back into a program for the world title again. Then I could live with it.
Well, I'm about 75% sure Okada's going to leave Wrestle Kingdom with the title, so...
I'm going to go against conventional wisdom on that. I'm going to say Omega's leaving with that title.
I would lean more Jason's way, and not that I think you haven't got a compelling reason for it, Abby, and I'm sure you're going to lay it out for me, but if they want to make a star, this is the place and the time to make Kenny Omega the big star.
Yeah, but Okada is the machine. That's their machine. They're not going to take that title off of their machine at the Dome.
The ace that runs the place.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I know he's ace, but...
It's all about making the fans happy. I can see them taking the title off of Okada somewhere else another time. They're not going to do it at the Dome.
I rarely, if ever, would use this kind of logic because I think, quite honestly, most of the time it's egotistical and condescending and just flat out pig-headed. But when Vince McMahon likes to say, I know what the fans like before they do, this is one of those cases where I would actually say, put the title on Omega, even if it's not what the fans want, because in 2 months, they'll be so glad that they did.
Oh, yeah, I think the smartest move for New Japan would be to put the title on Omega, but I just don't see it happening.
Put the title on Omega. You'll sell more Bullet Club merchandise that way.
Yeah, but they don't have the money invested in Omega that they have invested in Okada.
And that's why no other reason more than that makes it clear to me that you're probably right, Abby. But emotionally, I'm still pulling for Omega.
Oh,
How
I'm gonna
long
be
is
pulling for
Omega signed
too.
until? That's my question. Do we know when his contract is up?
I believe he's got
Probably
a 2-year
at the end
deal.
of the year.
Kind of like
I don't think
Okada?
he signed a 2.
I thought he did.
No, I don't think he signed a 2-year deal. I think he just signed a 1-year deal.
Well, then they better re-up it, because I don't want him going anywhere else.
And he said he doesn't have any plans to go anywhere else.
Well, good. Then we're all going to be happy.
But hell, you never can tell. I know Elgin signed a 2-year deal.
Oh, that's probably who I'm thinking of.
Yeah, but I don't think Omega. I think he re-upped for a year. I don't think he signed for 2.
Maybe we'll see Elgin come back at the Rumble.
Yeah,
I would hope so.
If his eye is all healed up and his hip is all healed up and he's good to go, then yeah, he'd be a surprise entrant.
And he could win.
He's a guy I miss seeing on the cards. It's like, I really have enjoyed watching him in New Japan, and he gets injured. It's like, oh man. Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Elgin win the Rumble either. That would be a good win, a good person to win the Rumble as opposed to fucking Jotto.
And that's the kind of Monster Roar spot you would like with a guy as big and squatted and muscular as him, is just go in there and clean house on everybody.
Yeah, but be careful with the old guys. They're breakable.
Yeah, that's true. You know what? I just want the one big bully stare down between Nakanishi and Elgin, just toe to toe, facing off against each other like two bulls.
I wouldn't mind that, as long as Ryback doesn't show up for the Rumble.
Oh, God.
Oh, please, God, no.
Cody's bad enough.
Real Hero Archive put a 3-hour career retrospective of Nakanishi up last weekend. He was kind of hot when he had hair.
He had hair?
He had hair. Didn't I send the pictures to the chat?
Yeah, you sent the picture. I saw.
I might have missed the pictures because I logged into Facebook when I came home from the gym tonight, and it was like 64 new messages. I was like, oh shit.
He had dark,
hair.
poofy, long hair.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'll have to scroll back up and see this.
Young boy Nakanishi.
And then he started wrestling in leather pants too. I don't know. It's like, this is an ornery uncle. He's not supposed to be hot.
Well, that was before he started eating small children for breakfast.
That's before he started eating small towns for breakfast.
Good old Nakanishi. We know he's in the Rumble. We know Tenzon's in the Rumble. We know Liger's in the Rumble. Taguchi, Tiger Mask, not W, and Yuji Nagata.
Kabuki will probably show up. Fujiwara will probably show up. Billy Gunn will probably show up.
Oh, no.
Oh, goody.
Cheeseburger might show up.
I wouldn't mind Cheeseburger showing up.
You know, I just read a Billy Gunn interview today where he said that he'd never worked New Japan, so going to the World Tag League was something he could check off his bucket list of things to do, and I thought, good, you've checked it off the list, now never come back.
He wasn't actually bad during the World Tag League.
I know, but your basic reaction to Cody being in New Japan is my reaction to Billy Gunn. It's like, even if he's good, he doesn't belong there.
Well, no, of course he doesn't belong there, but a lot of people don't belong there. But, I mean, doing a one-off at the biggest show of the year, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
I suppose, but anytime I see him, I just still think to this day, I'm an ass man, and I don't need the ass man in New Japan. We already got either Taguchi or Taichi for that.
I don't know. What I really wanted during Tag League was for Gunn and Taguchi to be a team. That would have just been incredible.
That
The
might
Ass
have
Men.
actually,
They could have called themselves the Ass Men.
that might have actually gotten him over with me if they had done that.
You know, it's not too late to put the 3 of them in a 3-way for this show.
Yes, it
What?
is.
Taichi, Taguchi, and Gunn in a fatal 3-way for the best ass?
Yes.
Ugh.
Oh, okay. If you insist, Kev.
There you go. Come on. You know you could make it work. 5-minute match at most, but yeah, you could get that over.
Well, you can make Kota Ibushi wrestling a blow-up doll work, but it doesn't mean it's something you should necessarily do all the time.
But he does do it all the time.
It only works for me when I watch it once in a blue moon. The fact that he does it all the time means, no, I don't need to see it.
Come on, Yoshihiko is one of the unparalleled stars of Japanese wrestling.
I don't know what that says about Japanese wrestling when you put it in that terms.
Of the sleazy indies, Yoshihiko is like top of the heap.
Oh, okay.
And for the people that don't know, Yoshihiko is the blow-up doll.
Yeah, that's why I'm having mixed reactions to Abby saying this.
I'm being sarcastic as hell.
You're
It's a
selling
fucking
it pretty
blow-up
well.
doll.
You're being sarcastic, but you're selling your sarcasm is a little too subtle there.
I mean, it's DDT, Blow-up doll is pretty much the most normal thing they do.
Yeah, this is a promotion, a company that once had a ladder as their champion. On that happy note, why don't we do some closing plugs? Abby, what do you got?
Top Rope Press, we have, over the next couple of weeks, we will have our year-end awards,
It is a reward for the loyal readers. It's a reward to them.
Yeah, and then this weekend I will have my, what is now becoming an annual tradition of Santa's List for the Wrestling World, where I get to play Santa and dole out gifts to certain people in professional wrestling. And at the top of Santa's list this year is a weed whacker for Gato's face.
and all the love for the pit bull.
Yes. Ishii and Yano get all kinds of goodies. It's just a stupid little thing. It's a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun doing it. So that'll be out on Saturday. So you can find me at Top Rope Press. You can find me on Twitter at Abby A, where I am always snarky and nasty and sarcastic and try to steer clear of all of this stupid ass feminist, sexist, misogynistic drama that has been going on for the last couple of weeks. I've decided to be Switzerland.
All I know is that indirectly I got inserted into that when somebody made a list of wrestling writers and said number 37 or 38, Abby, editor for Top Rope Press and writer for Angry Marks. And I was thinking, well, hey, that's great because Abby's getting recognized. And then I was thinking, oh yeah, I need Abby to actually write something for us. So
I have got to do that
title
before the end of the year. I do. I have to.
Please, that's all I want for Christmas. You already know that.
Yes, I know. It's on my list of things to do.
All right. Well, Jason, what do you have to plug?
Well, first and foremost, New Japan World, njpwworld.com. Not only is it the best 999 yen you can spend a month, but definitely you're going to want to buy it. Subscribe to the service before January 4th so you can watch live at stupid o'clock Wrestle Kingdom 11 and live tweet it with us all on Twitter. We have a good old time. You're not going to want to miss this. This is New Japan's WrestleMania, more or less. This is the show. If you see one New Japan show all year, make it Wrestle Kingdom. A public service announcement for those of you with the WWE Network. Watching Spanish is your best friend.
Mm-hmm. And I also have a public service announcement. If you don't know why Wrestle Kingdom is the WrestleMania of New Japan, right now they are offering a ton of Wrestle Kingdom shows for free. You can go check them out without a subscription. Once you see a few of them, you will know why you want that subscription for January 4th. And my own personal plug is I'm at AngryMarks on Twitter, and AngryMarks.com, DOTCOM, on YouTube is where highlights of our shows go up, as well as interviews I do with various fighters. So check that out. Check us all out on Twitter. And thank you for listening to Thursday Night AMP. For Abby, for Jason,